my Juicy Co-creators, Lilu here. I'm in Dublin, in beautiful Ireland, at L'Écrivain, the French named restaurant here in Dublin, 1-star Michelin. Ooh la la, it was so good. I'm here with the two owners, Derek and
SALLYANNE.
SALLYANNE, sorry. Is this a typical Irish name?
No, not really. I think most SALLYANNEs now are about 5 years old, aren't they? Yeah.
So you're already pioneering something.
Yeah, definitely.
No, you call SALLYANNE SALLYANNE. Yeah, some guys try to say Sally. No, my name is SALLYANNE, and my name is Derry.
We're right in Ireland right now.
No, different names, but Derry, like you have Londonderry in Northern Ireland, and I was named Derry. So that's kind of the Irish connection for me. What's a name? What's a name? Not important. Not important, no.
Well, L'Écrivain de Fonderie was a lucky name for your restaurant because it's bringing a lot of people, and I love the spirit in which you did that. Can you tell us what makes Irish food so different from other kind of foods?
Every country has its own character and soul, and I think that happens in the cuisine. You know, you go to any country, you can almost judge the country on their food, what the kind of people live there. You know, if the food is austere or very basic, you know, their food is not important. So the culture is more based upon eating to survive rather than to live to eat. You know, it's two different things. Like in France, Italy, old food culture, their interest in food is every day. It's important. Food is very important to the culture. Where Ireland, we're going that way, slowly but surely. I think we're improving every year.
Yeah, it's amazing. I've seen the past 10 years how the Anglo-Saxon and Irish food has evolved. It's pretty impressive. It's in fast progress. Like we see now international cuisine, and it's very elaborate. You must be so inspired by your husband.
Absolutely, you know. People travel more, people know more about food, people are much more informed, and of course you have the World Wide Web. So if you're not sure of something, you can look it up. You've got all that information at your fingertips now that you didn't have 10 years ago. So when you're explaining, you know, how a certain dish is done, people are with you all the way. It's very seldom that they'll say, where did that come from, or where did that originate, or how do you pronounce that again? Most people are very well informed. And the fact that Derry uses all Irish produce, and he supports local and artisan producers, and that the fish comes in every day, that everything is, I mean, the menu is dictated by what comes in the back door as opposed to what he would like to do all the time. He'll use what he gets, and as I say, it will be the best of Irish and the freshest produce available. I mean, he has an organic vegetable supplier, and whatever he brings, Derry says, fine, I will put that on the menu. He doesn't call him and say, I want X, Y and Z. It's whatever this man produces. As Derry said, if it's good enough for him to put so much tender, loving care into it, I'll put it on my menu. Isn't that basic?
And that's really the secret ingredient, isn't it? The love.
It is. But SALLYANNE's my unbelievable spokesperson here for me. Huh? You don't need me here. But no, SALLYANNE's dead right. I mean, I actually made a decision many years ago that I would know every single person who supplies us personally. I would meet them and know them, and most of them have become friends. I meet them, I go to their farms or to their trawler or to their butchers or farms and meet them and say hello, have a cup of tea, have a beer maybe. And when you connect that way, when you make it a friendship and a kind of a, what's the word, a joint partnership to achieve.
Kind of like a community even.
It is. I mean, the thing about it is I love that kind of community spirit, a closeness, keeping, you know, supporting your neighbour, supporting someone who does something really well. Really, for me, I'm lucky that way. The food we get here is so simple to work with because it's so good. My danger is I can't overwork it. I have to be careful. I've got to keep the integrity of the food as much as I can, but I have to make it exciting. That someone comes in here and say, hey, that was good. I can't really produce food that you can cook at home. You know, people come here to have something they can't cook at home, or wouldn't be able to, or too much time. So that's what we do here, I think. And I hope I achieve that. I try to achieve that. But it's difficult. Sometimes, you know, you make mistakes as you go along. But really the key factor any dish is the ingredients. If the ingredients are tops After that, it's really, unless you're a bad cook, you know, it really is true.
And in the end, it's your relationship, I guess, with the producers and with those farmers and the people that provide it. You have to trust them. It's a relationship.
In actual fact, I'd say to you, most of my producers are great characters. They're great fun people. Their lives are, I wouldn't say simple, but they have this outlook on life that it's not about money. It's not about success or glory or, you know, compliments. It's about having a nice life, adding to society, making people happy. I think it's great. Actually, you know, I always get jealous. Sometimes I go to their places around Ireland and they have lovely places, lovely little house, a few acres, and they're growing organic vegetables. Normally it's a couples, they're, you know, a husband and wife team, a couple of kids, and they have a very nice lifestyle.
Are you careful with the GMOs and the organics and all of that? Are you into this kind of not war, but...
Well, at the moment, Ireland is GMO free. We're one of the few countries in the world that has that, and we're very, very protective of that. I'm a member of Eurotalks, and Eurotalks is a European community of chefs. There are 7,000 chefs members, and we're very active. We have an office in Brussels, and we have full-time staff there, and they monitor every day all the legislation going through or any debates. They get involved, and we put our input into that. So our stance is very important on GMOs. I would be anti-GMOs for obvious reasons. I think it's big business wants GMOs. I'm sorry I've been serious here, but
no. This is part of those videos. I've traveled the world and I want to travel the world, mainly last year in the US. But it is a big concern, and it is something that we all have to step up, and it starts with us.
Oh, it is. I mean, I got to say to big business or big farming methods do explode, and we see that over here in Ireland with the mad cow disease. Any abattoir has a problem, and they're so big now, it means the whole thing's shut down. You have a kind of a wipeout completely. Where if you farm on a small scale, if there's a problem, it's one small area, maybe one farm that has to shut down. So really, I can see us going back. Actually, I can see the next decade or two, farming and production of food going back to basics, rethinking it. Fishing, for instance. I mean, we're fishing the seas clean, so we're going to have to look at how we eat, what we eat, when we eat it. You know, when I was a kid growing up, beef was a special occasion, maybe once every 2 months. Chicken was maybe once every 2 weeks. You know, they were special foods. Now chicken is every day, beef is every day, and as a society, we have to look at this and say, what are we going to change? We have to change it. Yeah. I mean, being a vegetarian will tell you, people who are vegetarian will tell you they only use 10% of 10% of a meat eater. Like, we are 90% more, using more of the earth's resources than a vegetarian is. If you look at it that way. Yeah. We don't need to eat meat every day.
We don't need that many proteins.
No, we don't.
And I'd say 25% of our customers are vegetarians. We have a lovely vegetarian menu, again, that changes regularly, and again, he's very inventive with it. So you can still be a vegetarian or a pescatarian and still go out and dine and get everything you wanted and everything you liked. It done, as you say, again, something different to what you would do at home. Yeah. And you still get the oohs and ahs for the fish dishes as you do for the vegetarian. Oh, you do?
I missed that.
You do?
I missed the oohs and ahs.
I get the oohs and ahs. You get them in the kitchen afterwards. But we get a great response because he's not afraid to change things. Our daughter is a strict vegetarian, so he tends to use her sometimes as a guinea pig when he's trying something completely different, and she'll tell him straight up, yes, that works. No, that doesn't she? Yeah. And then we've a son who'd eat the leg of a chair if it was seasoned properly, but that's another story.
So that's a family thing. Everybody gets involved, huh? Yeah.
Well, it's true. I mean, let's be honest about it. I mean, SALLYANNE and myself are sitting here with this restaurant, but I mean, any restaurant is teamwork, you know.
22 years. 22 years,
that's right, yeah. But I mean, we have like 10 chefs in the kitchen. There's about 15 front of house, you know. Like, we have a lot of people who make things happen. It's not just me or SALLYANNE or both of us, you know. I mean, I think any small business has to have that, has to have a good team.
It's a dream. It's a dream of many people to have their own restaurant. Tell us about the reality of it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. No. Buy a backpack and just tour the world and kind of hide for about 20 years. Actually, I often say sometimes I'd like to do sometimes is get my iPhone now, isn't it? And just throw it over my shoulder and keep walking, you know, and get a small boat and sail, just keep sailing to the horizon and keep going. Yeah, that's my dream actually now. Is I think we're going to do that. Actually. I think our dream is actually next few years is to do that. I think we're going to travel the world in a boat where we sail. So I think we're going to do that. Get away.
Because having a restaurant is constant transformation and reinventing and rethinking. As you said, you can't really do the same than what other people can do in their home. So it's constantly, where are we at? And plus you have the probably the pressure kind of the 1-star Michelin, huh?
It is.
That changes things, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, you know, it does. Like the thing about it is you are benchmarked every day and every night. You're benchmarked by every customer. So, you know, that's something.
They're tough.
They are tough. I mean, you know, that's a worldwide thing. And why not being tough? I mean, they're coming in here, you know, it's $100 a head at least. So, you know, why not? That's fair. I think when people do have a complaint or a problem, if it's handled, you know, said properly and handled properly, it works for everyone. It makes you stronger, makes you better. You must listen to your customers. I think that's what makes our success. I mean, SALLYANNE's great for that. We listen to our customers, don't we?
We do. I mean, the customer may not always be right, but they are the customer, and you do have to take things on board. I mean, it is a performance, so
I bite my lip here.
Yeah, I know. That's why he's in the kitchen and I'm outside. He wouldn't be as patient sometimes, but it is a performance. I mean, you're as good as your last meal, really. And you know, it's the old story. If people are happy, they'll tell 10 friends. If they're unhappy, they'll tell 110. Yeah. So we have to make sure they leave very happy and that they tell at least 10 friends. Yeah. And that's what keeps us going. I mean, a lot of our business is repeat business. And it's nice to see the same people coming back, and again to remember that they don't like ice or they don't like lemon or they're dairy free or they're whatever their allergies are or their likes or their dislikes. And again, they feel comfortable coming back because they're aware that we're aware of their different requirements and that it's not a big deal.
What are the products now that are being used in the Irish cuisine? Is it still the potatoes, or is it changed? Oh, I shouldn't say that because I just had an amazing lunch. Let me tell you, with so many ingredients I didn't had for 20 years. Well, maybe not, maybe 5.
Yeah, no, actually, no. First of all, I may say the potato is a very honourable vegetable. It really is. I mean, for generations, a lot of people in the world survived on that. You know, I don't think we'd be here only for the potato, let's be honest. Yes, the potato is in decline, for different reasons, I think. You know,
it's because it's a carb.
It's a carb, you see, and people don't want carbs anymore. You know, I mean, but funny enough, pasta is, I don't know, pasta's on the increase or not, but
so much gluten in it.
yes, there is, and there's gluten, and now also gluten-free is a big thing now, you know, modern living. But still, I think carbs are very important in a diet, you know, really. And yes, we do potatoes, but yes, it's not potato based. You know, I mean, I think you had lunch today. It was one potato dish, you know, as a side. I think it was palm fondant, and that's
wonderful cob, wonderful asparagus with some monkfish at the beginning that were stripped. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Well, we use a lot of slow cooking, which I think, you know, is pretty big in now. You know, water bathing works really well for meaty fish like monkfish and beef, lamb. It's great for meat. It gives lovely texture to the meat and tenderness. And we did all the veg in the bag as well, cook in the bag in the water. It locks in the flavour of the veg. Where the old days we used to, you know, you get their raw veg and put into just boiling water and strain it off. But all the nutrients and all the flavours from the veg went down in the sink in the water. Yeah. So doing it in a bag, you know, so you're kind of doing it a roundabout way, and it really works, you know. So that's kind of new techniques. I think people want to eat lighter.
Yes.
I mean, the old days where you had a good meal is when you were really full. You kind of, wow, I'm stuffed. That's gone. I think people want to leave a table now feeling refreshed, happy, and feeling that was good. Yeah. But feeling good, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Would you agree?
Light and like tasty.
Yeah, they want something tasty, something that's going to excite their taste buds, to make them think about it, and then, you know, they'll say, yeah, that was worth it. You want people to feel, I mean, we're in the middle of a very bad recession, and you want people to feel they've had value for money. I mean, at the end of the day, nobody wants to spend money if they're not going to get value for it, if they're not going to feel that they've had something worthwhile. And that's a challenge too, because people's expectations are higher and higher all the time, and you've got to rise to that challenge. And we do as best as we can, don't we?
Yeah, we try. Expectations, no, it's something you have to match and try and realise their expectation. Difficult. Look, I mean, really, it's a very simple thing. You know, people come in to eat, to enjoy, and what's the best thing in life is to sit at a table with family or friends, have a nice bit of food, a nice glass of wine, a good chat, and you know, everyone wins. I think it's the most important thing we can do culturally as human beings is to eat together and share together. You know, it's called breaking bread.
Yes.
I think that's a beautiful saying, isn't it? To break bread together is a really nice thing, I think, in life. And I think it brings us, if you have friends and you go out to eat with them, your friendship actually becomes a lot more secure, better foundations from it, you know.
Where did you had your creative moments come from? When does those happen? Like you're like, oh my goodness, I have to try this. Is there specific moments?
Not really.
Or you're in the kitchen, or you might be with your wife, or you might be out of town or in the market, or it's just...
Yeah, well, it's other chefs as well, other chefs, and chefs who work here, first of all, mind you, and then, you know...
and then we dine out.
Yeah.
We do tend to travel.
Yeah, but I try to avoid
important to check what others are doing
What
too.
everybody else. You do have to see
but
what everybody else is doing.
I avoid that, really avoid that. Taking ideas from other restaurants, especially here, really avoid that completely. I actually don't do it. In actual fact, if I see something really good on, I'm envious, because I said I wouldn't mind doing that, but I won't do it. I won't copy.
In other countries or other capitals either?
No, we eat a lot abroad. New York, London, Paris. We go around a fair bit. San Sebastian's our favourite, isn't it? But also, again, I don't take much ideas from there, because those restaurants are for that region. Like a New York restaurant is going to be for New York, or for LA, or San Francisco was there last year. It suits that city. Because that city is not Dublin. You know, I'm a Dublin restaurant, Dublin chef, so I got to do the food that suits here, that makes us a bit different. It has
to be a challenge too, because with all this international cuisine, I mean, people from all around the world that you have here, I mean, this is becoming really a melting pot these days. And as we were saying earlier, yes, there are some ingredients that don't taste the same in a particular place than another. So there is a Dublin feel.
100% right. You're actually 100% right there. I think it's the climate, you know, and the kind of noise of the city that gives its own unique flavour, and the accent. Yeah. Our accent's totally different than, say, New York, that's for sure. But yeah, I'm proud of that. I'm very proud of Dublin and where it's coming and where it's going.
Where is it going?
I think it's going really up. We have a young population in Dublin now. You know, the vast majority saying it would be under 30. Under 30. The majority in Dublin would be under 30. You can see it. And actually, funny enough, we got a lot of 20 plus coming into the restaurant, couples, a lot. So you see that kind of vibrant.
Do they have the money?
Yeah, well, you know, yes, and you know, they look upon maybe come here once every 2 months. You know, it's a night out instead of going to the theatre. In Ireland, in the old days, the Irish pub was the centre of the social night. That's changed a lot. What's happening is now people are coming to the restaurant, and that's the social centre. Restaurants now, maybe the pub afterwards for 1 or 2 drinks. It's not the whole night. It's the restaurant, and then maybe 11:30, midnight. The weekends, especially, the pubs will be busier. And Irish pubs, by the way, are just brilliant. I mean, I think they have a unique ambience.
Yeah.
Oh, they have, really. I mean, I know around the world they have the Irish pub copied. Not the same. I mean, once you're in Dublin or in Ireland or in the country, the pubs are just so different. I mean, have you been to a few pubs yet?
I just got here last night, but I think tonight there's a literacy pub crawl going on.
You'll have a great time on that. The literary pub crawl. They'll bring you into all the different pubs where all our famous writers used to...
get pissed in.
Yes. There's one story about a pub down in Baggot Street that James Joyce and Brendan Behan used to meet up, and there's a bench down on the canal. Apparently,
Patrick Kavanagh, wasn't it?
Sorry, Patrick Kavanagh, I beg your pardon, and Brendan Behan. Sorry, James Joyce was dead. Patrick Kavanagh and Brendan Behan. And they decided they'd go for a drink in Baggot Street, but there wasn't one pub that either of them hadn't been barred from. So they went into an off licence and bought a bottle and sat down on a bench down on the canal. So you'll see that bench with Patrick Kavanagh sitting on it, and that's the story of the bench that they sat down, and that's where they used to meet for a drink down on Baggot Street Bridge.
Did you meet on a bench? You too?
No.
Actually, we met in a hotel.
We did, yeah.
We met in a hotel, yeah.
Yeah, I met a guy that used to work with Derry, and I went out for a drink with him and his sister and his pals, and he said he wanted me to meet some of his friends, and Derry was one of his friends, and there was no going back. Or was there?
Someone said to me a while ago, "What's your biggest extravagance in your life?" Or, "What was your biggest extravagance?" And I said, "Meeting SALLYANNE."
So worth it.
Well, you know something. We're married. Believe it or not, we're married this year. 25 years married. And SALLYANNE, I said, "SALLYANNE, where do you want to do this year?" And she said, "Derry." SALLYANNE was reared in Chicago, so we're going to go there. And then Hawaii. She wants to go. Never been to Hawaii, so we go there.
You have to go to Kauai. Kauai.
Oh, Kauai, is it? But hang on. But I always said, someone said, "How come Derry you've lasted so long, 25 years, so happily?" And I said 2 words: "Yes, love." Yeah.
Yes. Perfect.
Yes, love.
Compromise, darling. Compromise.
Well, we work well together. I mean, we have a restaurant here, and we work well together. We have other things besides here, little businesses here and there, do different things. I have a food range out there, and that goes very well. Actually going to New York and Boston very shortly, so look out for that. Hopefully that'll take off there.
And you're on Irish TV.
Yes, I have great fun. It's a midday program that they have 5 women on the panel, and we discuss everything from men, and
A lot to talk about.
there is a lot to talk about.
No, not, we're
we
boring.
we discuss current affairs, whatever the topic of the day is, or whatever the headlines in the newspapers are, and sometimes it can be very serious, and sometimes it can be great fun. And most
You can bring the écrivain also in there.
not really. They if they are looking for culinary answers.
I do on TV.
Derry does it on TV, but I'm afraid I don't cook. I married a wonderful chef, so I don't need
Why
to.
would you?
I do. SALLYANNE's on a different TV station, Arrival. I'm on the. We're actually 2 different stations, and we don't cross over, do we? No. SALLYANNE's on TV3, and I'm on RT, the Irish State broadcaster. And they don't allow you. You can't change over. It's amazing. But I do live afternoon cooking, and it's exciting because it's live.
Yes.
So cooking live is great fun, actually.
Tell us what we have here in front of us.
Petit fours, and they look very nice, don't they?
Yeah, they were lovely. This one.
Yeah, little chocolate tart,
Yeah.
little marshmallow.
This is shining. It's got like little.
Gold dust. I know. Very elaborate, isn't it? Really
Very tasty too.
good. Yeah.
Thank you for this wonderful time, and thank you for taking the
Enjoy
time.
your stay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Enjoy the literary pub crawl tonight.
Don't get too
Thank you. Much love, my beautiful co-creators from Dublin.
Bye.
Bye. Juicy co-creators, Lilu here. I'm in Dublin, in beautiful Ireland, at L'Crivain, the French named restaurant here in Dublin. 1-star Michelin. Ooh la la, it was so good. I'm here with the two owners, Derek and
SALLYANNE.
Sorry, is this a typical Irish name?
No, not really. I think most SALLYANNEs now are about 5 years old, aren't they? Yeah.
So you're already pioneering something.
Yeah, definitely.
No, you call SALLYANNE. Yeah, some guys try to say Sally. No, my name is SALLYANNE, and my name is Derry, to survive, rather than to live to eat. You know, it's two different things. Like in France, Italy, old food culture. Their interest in food is every day. It's important. Food is very important to the culture. Where Ireland, we're going that way, slowly but surely. I think we're improving every year.
Yeah, it's amazing. I've seen the past 10 years how the Anglo-Saxon and Irish food has evolved. It's pretty impressive. It's in fast progress. Like we see now international cuisine, and it's very elaborate. You must be so inspired by your husband.
Absolutely, people travel more, people know more about food, people are much more informed, and of course you have the World Wide Web. So if you're not sure of something, you can look it up. You've got all that information at your fingertips now that you didn't have 10 years ago. So when you're explaining, how a certain dish is done, people are with you all the way. It's very seldom that they'll say, where did that come from, or where did that originate, or how do you pronounce that again? Most people are very well informed. And the fact that Derry uses all Irish produce, and he supports local and artisan producers, and that the fish comes in every day, that everything is, the menu is dictated by what comes in the back door, as opposed to what he would like to do all the time. He'll use what he gets, and as I say, it will be the best of Irish and the freshest produce available. He has an organic vegetable supplier, and whatever he brings, Derry says, fine, I will put that on the menu. He doesn't call him and say, I want X, Y, and Z. It's whatever this man produces. As Derry said, if it's good enough for him to put so much tender, loving care into it, I'll put it on my menu. Isn't that basic?
That's really the secret ingredient, isn't it? The love.
It is. But SALLYANNE's my unbelievable spokesperson here for me. Huh? You don't need me here. But SALLYANNE's dead right.
We're right in Ireland right now.
Different names, but Derry, like you have Londonderry in Northern Ireland, and I was named Derry. So that's kind of the Irish connection for me. But what's a name? What's a name? Not important. Not important, no.
Well, L'Crivain definitely was a lucky name for your restaurant, because it's bringing a lot of people, and I love the spirit in which you did that. Can you tell us what makes Irish food so different from other kind of foods?
Every country has its own character and soul, and I think that happens in the cuisine. You go to any country, you can almost judge the country on their food, what the kind of people live there. If the food is austere or very basic, their food is not important, so the culture is more based upon eating. I actually made a decision many years ago that I would know every single person who supplies us personally. I would meet them and know them, and most of them have become friends. I meet them, I go to their farms or to their trawler or to their butchers or farms, and meet them and say hello. Have a cup of tea, have a beer maybe. And when you connect that way, when you make it a friendship and a kind of a joint partnership to achieve.
Kind of like a community even.
It is. The thing about it is, I love that kind of community spirit, a closeness, keeping, supporting your neighbour, supporting someone who does something really well. Really, for me, I'm lucky that way. The food we get here is so simple to work with because it's so good. My danger is I can't overwork it. I have to be careful. I've got to keep the integrity of the food as much as I can, but I have to make it